G'day guys and welcome to the Iron Empire. This week I'm doing a video walk around of Jake's shop down here in Woodville North. Jake calls this shop Northwest Auto Bodies, or at least he has been up until recent times. But anyway, you guys will know this area. I spend a lot of time down here. We do a lot of work in this shop here of Jake's, and I've had a few people ask me a lot of information about this shop. I don't know a great deal, but I'll tell you all what I do know. First thing is that this is one of my favorite places to take photos of cars. And this time of night, it's just sun's going down. It's a nice evening, and these industrial buildings with all their history just look freaking amazing. The whole area in Woodville North, this industrial loop down here, all the buildings in the area are all the same. This was all one big complex where we actually used to make things in Australia, and yes, in South Australia, big manufacturing area. And now a lot of these buildings have now been used for different things, like fortunately there's still a little bit of manufacturing down here. There's warehouses, storage, all sorts of different industrial things. Now Jake is down here in plant 12, dock 1. What that means, I don't know, but you guys have seen inside heaps of times. It is a huge workshop. To give you an idea of how big this actual workshop is, I'd have to step it out. I'll step it out now. All right, so this workshop is around 30 to 35 meters long and around the same in width. I don't know off the top of my head what that is, but I'll put that in the screen right here. That's how big the workshop is. It is freaking huge. The reason Jake's got this shop is that luckily a family member owns a lot of the area here, and this workshop is basically very tired. It's at a point where it's due for a lot of money to be spent on it. It's very hard to rent out a place like this, but fortunately for Jake, it suits what we're doing down here. So it's pretty much on its last legs before this whole area probably gets developed at some stage, but who knows? I'm just having a guess at that. But that's basically how Jake's got this shop, and why it's such a rundown thing, but it looks freaking awesome. It's still got everything that we need in here. It still has everything that Jake needs in here, but it also has a hell of a lot of character. Now, one of the things that is super interesting about this place is that all these buildings down here used to be all one big manufacturing plant for Electrolux. So for those of you in Australia, you will probably know what Electrolux is. They have always built electrical appliances and the likes of, and they're probably different branches and brands under that subheading. But one of those branches or brands under that subheading is, as you will see the remnants of this sign, Email Parts. So any of you with a Chrysler, a Valiant Australian built Mopar will know Email Parts. A lot of the electrical components in these cars were built by Email, and they were built right here. You can kind of see the remnants in this sign here. So yes, Email Parts. First thing I think off the top of my head is the alternator. Look in the engine bay of a Valiant, you'll see an Email alternator built here in Adelaide, and quite potentially in this workshop. So this was the parts centre. There's a little bit of a showroom which does join into Jake's shop. We keep the clean parts and the painted bits and pieces in these front rooms to keep them safe and keep the dust levels down in there. So that used to be the showroom and the parts centre. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the outside of the shop. The driveway is a shared area with a few other people down the other end. There's a sign shop, sandblasting, and this other warehouse is soon to be rented out to new occupants there. So now going inside here, I'll give you a real quick tour because we don't want to see in here. It's pretty horrible. This is Jake's little office. It's more of a throw your spare clothes in there and use the fridge room. One of the cool signs that are around the place, Email Parts. A few of these old cool signs are plastered around the shop. I was lucky enough to score one of those signs. It is broken, so I have to repair it, but Jake gave me one of those signs, which is really cool to pop in my shed. This would have been offices at some stage, but it is now used as a parts room for all the bits and pieces, although it is an absolute mess at the moment. All the bits and pieces from the cars that have been disassembled go in here and keep relatively safe. And now through to this next room. This would have also been the, I assume, the front entrance. So people would come in here, come up to the service desk, ask for the bits and pieces you needed, and offices through the front. Simpson, there you go, Simpson washing machines, dryers, fridges, all that sort of stuff also would have been made here, or at least their parts would have been made here. So this is the front room. There's my boot that I sprayed up for the LTD, which is over in this front corner here. LTD over here looking sorry for itself, awaiting some more love. Now this is back into the main workshop, and it is pretty crowded in here. Don't get me wrong, there is still plenty of room, but Jake gets a little bit anxious when there's too many cars in here. Parts lining the walls, and there's crap everywhere, to be honest with you. Jake's got plenty of R33s that he's been collecting over the years, which is lucky for him because they are now skyrocketing in price. This is Jake's XB, which he got off me, which actually begun this whole journey. Jake's seen this car in one of my videos, which you guys may have seen a while back, where he decided that he wanted my XB in exchange to paint my other XB, which is in prime. Jake's over here making some noise because we are dragging some pieces around to make something over in the corner here, which I'll show you shortly. And then, yeah, through to my javelins, awaiting some love. And this is the row of cars that's been recently painted. Tiff's R33, the XY wagon in teal glow, Andrea's Tirana, which is in Windsor blue, which I've since found out. This custom purple on the HQ looks amazing. Jake's making all the noise. And of course this ridiculously bright green GDS. Daniel's holding in the corner here, the XD. Jake's Sylvia here, and a few cars out the front. Now moving over to this corner, this is an exciting day because we have decided, spare the moment, that it is time to build a booth. So you will see we're halfway through that. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up a walk around the shop here at Woodville. I don't have much more information for you guys. If you do have any questions, hit me up in the comments below and I'll endeavor to answer all of those when I get the information from maybe Jake. But we are gonna rewind right now to earlier in the day where we started on this booth. Check it out. All right, behind me, as you can see, we are clearing space for what is gonna become somewhat of a paint booth. Stay tuned. Jake's just cleaned up a few scraps that we haven't used, and luckily the warehouse has that many leftover bits and pieces. We got some beams, they're all different sizes and lengths and stuff, but I think we've got enough beams to do the ceiling. So before we go screwing anything up, we're just gonna sort of mock it all up. We're gonna drive the Penny in and see how it feels walking around the car, doors open, just to sort of get a feel for the size of the booth. Hopefully it should be sweet. Driving in for the first time in the booth. guys, so that's going to be a wrap on this week's episode. As you can all probably tell, the booth build is going to take quite some time. We're going to do our best to smash that out so we can get stuck back into some cars real soon. If you haven't already, please check out the online store. We've got new hoodies here, fresh beanies in stock, and they're selling pretty quick. So if you do miss out, please leave me a comment below or an inbox and let me know that you're interested in your size, and I'll do my best to stock up on that ASAP. If you haven't already, please like the video, subscribe, and I will see you all on an upcoming episode of The Iron Empire. Cheers, guys.